you ever been in a situation where for that one split second you thought that your life was going to end? Or have you been in a situation where you know something really, really bad's going to happen and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it? Well, that happened to me almost 32 years ago. Hi, my name's Anton and welcome to my channel, Let's Talk About Life with Anton. So to follow on from my short stories video, I'm going to tell you an incredible story that happened to me almost 32 years ago, where I had a situation where I honestly thought that I was either going to die or I was going to be seriously injured for the rest of my life. And I knew it was going to happen about a second before it did, but there was absolutely nothing I could do about it. It was the weirdest feeling in the world because I just felt completely and utterly helpless at the time. And I'm going to share this story with you right now. So I'm going to take you back to 1993. It was the winter of 1993. Myself and a few of my pals decided we were going to go on an adventure. But we didn't want to do anything boring or too close to home. We really wanted to go on a proper adventure. So we ended up deciding to go to Norway because we wanted to see the northern lights, we wanted to see the fjords and the mountainous areas, and we just thought, how cool is this? It's ice cold, it's like minus 20 or 30 degrees. This is going to be an absolute whirlwind of an adventure, and we prepared for it, we trained for it, we got all fit and everything. We made sure we packed all our supplies and we went off on an adventure for 1 week in Norway, camping. On the second night, we were all sat, we were actually lying in our sleeping bags in the tent. And you can imagine it's like, the way it worked is the way that we had it set up. We had our like tents were on these like large mats on the floor in like a horseshoe type shape, and then in the middle we had two things going on. So we did all the cooking outside the tent, and we had these like little burners, okay, that you put paraffin in, you fill them up with paraffin and then you light them, and that was how we did all our cooking. Brilliant. So in the middle, hanging from the roof of the tent, we had this like paraffin lamp. So it's this glass paraffin lamp, and what you had to do again is you filled it up with paraffin, and then you could turn it on, and I think as far as I remember you can control the light, so you can have it dim or bright. Anyway, on this particular evening, we'd had our food, we were all settling into our sleeping bags, we were having such a great time telling jokes and stories and everything. It was all just absolutely, usual lads banter. We were on an absolute high because we were away from our parents, and we were having a great time. I decided to get into my sleeping bag, and again, because of the outside temperatures and stuff like that, we decided to obviously zip the bags up so they were like airtight from like the neck down. We would have like woolly hats on, and then you'd have like the hood of the sleeping bag over the top because it was bitterly cold outside. What we also decided to do was obviously have the light, this paraffin lamp shining inside the tent, but we also decided to have this like burner actually in the middle of the tent on the floor, just to heat the inside of the tent. And we planned to have that on just for like half an hour, just to heat the tent up a little bit. We had the light on, telling jokes. As I said, we were having such a laugh. And then after that, we were going to turn it all off and go to sleep, and then wake up the next day and, go sightseeing and have a good time. But on this particular evening, it was about 10:30 in the evening, and one of my friends, Graham, got out of his sleeping bag. We were all in our sleeping bags, there's 4 of us. My friend Graham decided to fill the light up with paraffin because it was starting to fade. So instead of taking the lamp off the hook of the roof of the tent, go outside the tent and fill the lamp up with paraffin, he, for some reason that he still can't explain, decided to tip the lamp to one side and pour the paraffin into the bottom of the lamp. Now, as he decided to do that, I wasn't really paying attention. I was sort of half dozing because I was really tired. But as I looked up, I could see him literally just getting the bottle of paraffin and starting to pour into the lamp. And it was at that point I knew we were in serious trouble, like serious trouble, because directly under the lamp was this burner that was firing. It was heating the tent up, and one drop of paraffin liquid onto that burner and it would have obviously, you know, it's like paraffin, fire, disaster. And that's exactly what happened. So for that split second, I knew I wanted to scream out, "Graham, no!" But I couldn't get the words out quick enough. The other guys weren't paying attention, and I couldn't get words out quick enough to tell him, "What on earth are you doing? You're going to set the whole tent on fire." So as I'm thinking this in my head, he started to pour. And again, it sends shivers down my spine like 32 years later, because I just know what happened. So all the paraffin started to drip down onto the burner, and within maybe 1 second, the entire tent was in flames. I mean, it literally was like lighting match paper. It just went. So this big ball hit the roof of the tent. The entire tent caught on fire within seconds. And we were all in our sleeping bags. Again, like I said, zipped up round our necks here. So I just thought, we're dead. We are dead. I am literally going to burn alive with my friends. None of us are going to get out of this. This is just horrendous. I don't know all the details because, again, it was 30 odd years ago and a lot of it was a blur after that. I remember so vividly the moment it happened, but after that, it was literally like a blur. I can't remember. I recall trying to get my feet out of the bottom of the tent, and bear in mind there's pegs and everything. It was all like locked down because obviously there's high winds and stuff like that. But I remember literally doing anything and everything to scramble myself, still in my sleeping bag, out of the tent just to get away from this fire. But at this point, like I said, the whole thing was pretty much caught on flames. There was smoke everywhere. I had no idea where my friends were. The other thing that I didn't mention is we did bring bits of equipment with us, obviously. One of the things that we bought was, you know, for safety reasons, we had some like flares, because, you know, if we ever got into any major trouble, then we could use those flares to signal help. So in my head as well, I'm thinking, I'm in a tent, I can't get out, I'm in it with my sleeping bag wrapped around my neck. There's like pyrotechnics in the tent. It just couldn't have got any worse. So anyway, in the end, I managed to get out underneath the bottom of the tent. I don't even know how. I must have had a hole created with the fire or something. I don't know, but I managed to sort of roll out of the tent underneath, and basically undo the knot on the sleeping bag. You know, it's one of those plastic things you just pull down and it opened up, and I remember wriggling out, and I could see my friend Graham was just engulfed in flames around his head, and like I said, it's just recalling this every time, it's just horrible. But I remember the fire all around his face and back of his head and things like that. And then I remember seeing my friends in similar situations where they were all just literally rolling around trying to put the flames out. And I didn't know it at the time, but I was burnt down one side of my legs on my left side at the back. I had all these like burns where the fire had actually caught alight on the bottom of my sleeping bag and burnt my leg. Again, I didn't know that at the time. The adrenaline, everything's just kicking in, and you know, all you care about is, please, I just trying to save your own life. That is it, period. So we scrambled out, and fire, literally the tent had gone, and there was smoke everywhere. The fire had gone out. We were all checking each other. My friend Graham ended up literally burying his head in the snow and rolling around and everything. And I remember at the time looking at his face thinking, he is scarred for life. Like, he literally, his whole face was just burnt. And you know, it was just awful. You couldn't really recognize him, if you know, if that makes sense. I checked myself over, seemed to be okay, and again, apart from my leg, everything else seemed to be okay. So I was like, wow, I just can't believe how lucky I am. I can't believe I got out of it. So relieved that my friends got out of it as well. And luckily for us, we actually had a few tents that were pitched up in this same area, and they'd seen the commotion, came out. Again, it's probably about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So, you know, they were still up, and they came running over, and all I remember is being bundled in the back of a truck, and being whisked off to the nearby hospital. I can't remember how long it was. I think it was about 45 minutes or something. And I was with my friend Graham as well. The other two stayed behind. They were fine. Like, miraculously, they weren't hurt at all. But me and my friend Graham were bundled in this car and taken to the local hospital, where we received treatment. And I luckily have got nothing on my legs. Now there's certain parts of my left leg that the hair doesn't grow. So don't know if that's anything to do with it, but like, as far as scars go, I was fine. My friend Graham took a little bit longer to recover, but miraculously he actually made a full recovery and had very little scars on his face, which I to this day I still can't believe. I did have a picture of him with all the bandages on and everything like that, but I don't know where it is. I can't find it. But I've got a picture of myself with my leg, so I'll put that up, and you can see it on the screen now. So it doesn't look too bad, but you know, at the time it wasn't great. I remember some of the doctors going, you know, there's potential that you can have a lot of scarring at the back, but miraculously, you know, I came out of it okay, and thankfully everyone else did as well. But it was a massive lesson for all of us, and I'll never forget that. And I know this is a bit of a short story that is got a very serious element to it, but you know, I just thought I had to tell it. I'm so lucky to be here because I have had a few scrapes in my time, very close encounters over the years, but I think that one was definitely for me the scariest, and one that I genuinely at the time thought, this is it, my life's over, I'm done, I'm finished. And yeah, it was pretty bad. I do have a little bit of a fear of fire now. I'm forever telling the kids to turn everything off, and when they're cooking and stuff like that, I'm always watching over them. I have got a real fear about it, and it's probably because of that incident. But look, I can't help that. It's just the way it's going to always be. Look, I hope you found this video interesting. Like I say, so a few life lessons there that will, don't ever play with fire. Think every single time, check, double check, triple check before you start doing anything with fire, because again, it just goes like that, and it is so uncontrollable. I'm here to tell the tale and live and tell you this story. So thanks very much for checking out this video. I hope you, as I say, enjoyed it, but I hope you took some lessons from it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching. Like, subscribe. There'll be loads more short stories coming up soon. So take care and speak to you soon. Bye.